Hey everyone, Editor Tino here, coming into your ears. A little strange saying that. Usually it's Editor Colton coming in with the narration. But this episode is my responsibility, so I wanted to give you guys a heads up on what you're about to hear. So this week's episode is going to be a little different than what we're used to. Me and Colton just couldn't really line up our schedules, and he had a work trip coming up. So what we decided to do was take an episode from the original version of the Pop Punk Power Hour when I was still a student at Van Arts and use that as this week's episode. So it's the episode with Colton on, obviously. So you're going to hear a lot of things. You're going to hear an origin story of mine and Colton's friendship, how we got to know each other, as well as Colton's intro into the genre. Oh, also, I should let you guys know, the episode starts off with like, I don't know, maybe 14 seconds of silence. It might be less than that or something. I'm not entirely sure. But basically, I forgot to turn my mic on right at the beginning, and we didn't notice it for a little bit for, yeah, like I said, probably about 14 or 15 seconds. But then it turns into a bit of a joke, so I'm leaving it in there. So when the episode starts and you don't hear anything, just so you know, that's why. And also a little teaser, there's going to be a little surprise at the end. So stay tuned to the whole episode for that. So hope you enjoy, and thanks for listening as always. Haha, psych, I thought of one more thing. Okay, so when I was doing this project originally, keep in mind that it was supposed to be a radio show that was also live streamed on Twitch. So there were some music breaks, as there are on radio shows. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fade out after like 2 or 3 seconds of the song, and then I'll cut back to when we come back from break, and I'll just fade in from that nice and easy. So just so you guys have a heads up, when you hear music starting to play, that's what's happening. Okay, just wanted to give you a heads up. Now the actual episode. Love you. Bye. I didn't turn my mic on entire time.
I was going to say, I didn't hear your mic.
What a dummy. Okay, well, I'm not even going to
do the intro again. It's okay. Nobody heard it.
Excuse me. What's going on, everyone? For First Week Feast, I'm Sean Everins, and you're watching Hot Ones. It's the show with hot questions and even hotter wings. And today, no, obviously I'm joking. Welcome back to the Pop Punk Power Hour on twitch.tv/Tino Farah. Yeah, I'm your host, Tino Farah. You're either watching on Twitch or you're listening to the audio-only version on radio.vanarts.com. Either way, thank you guys very much for watching. If this is your first time, welcome. We're going to have a really fun show. If you're coming back for the second week, thank you for suffering with me again. As you can see from that first 2 minutes there, I'm still, you're going to have to bear with me a little bit. So for the people that I do have a guest with me again, I will introduce him in just a moment. For the people that haven't watched the previous episode, or this is their first one or whatever, just a quick rundown of the show. Like I said, this is the Pop Punk Power Hour. I'm your host, Tino Farah. The idea of the show is, I love the genre of pop punk. It's the genre that most people tend to grow out of as they get a little bit older, and I just never grew out of it. So why not talk about it with my friends that also never really grew out of it at all? So yeah, we're gonna have lots of fun, listen to some tunes, talk about the genre a little bit, get into it. We'll do a video game segment later on called Gamers Galore, which I'm just going to say the game that I have this week is my favorite one that I've done out of all of them so far. So,
oh yeah.
So yeah, I really hope you enjoy it. So that let's get into the intro for the guest. That little voice you heard him laugh at me earlier, and you just heard him give a little yeah boy right there. So this is a very, very good friend of mine. We didn't really grow up together, but we met at, I don't know, it was my first job.
Mine too.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Colton Easton. I need to figure out like a sound effect to be able to get a round of applause or something like that. I'll figure that out.
Yeah, you can find sound bites for that. By the way, intro just as funny the second time.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, everyone. Colton had to suffer through that twice, so I think I nailed it the second time. But
probably the second best internet show after this one.
Oh wow, what an honor! And this is only the second show too. Wow, what a time. But yeah, a quick little rundown of Colton. So like I said, we met at our first jobs. I actually was introduced to you first by a friend of mine who is also your cousin,
yes,
Kale, who also worked at Swanee Set with us. Yeah, and my introduction to Kale was I hated him at first because his very first shift, I think I've told him this before, his very first shift was after a lacrosse game that I had, and I blocked a shot with my neck, And I was telling one of our coworkers that, and Kale overheard it, and he was just like, why? Like, why did you do that? And I was like, screw you, man. It hurts. I went to the hospital. But anyways, Kale is a good friend of mine as well, and thanks to him, I got to meet you, and thanks to Swanee Set. Shout out Swanee Set.
Shout out the Swan. I think we hit it off like right away as soon as we met. Like,
yeah, I think we were like sort of similar.
Yeah. And no, honestly, what brought us together was the music. Like, you were in the music program at your high school, and I thought that was cool as hell that your high school had a music program. We had soccer.
And that's it. Oh, cool. So, sick program.
Yeah. And I was like, oh man, I'm so jealous.
So just a little bit more of a background for me and Colton. I was trying to think earlier when I was like going through our old like pictures and like memories and stuff like that. Where have we only been in one band together, or was it two bands?
I think we were in one band, two different names.
Oh, that's what. Because I remember, like, for those of you that follow me on Instagram, you saw my like promotion of it today. One of the promotional pieces that I put to tease who the guest was a picture of our first show in that band.
Babies. Is that the one that we played at midnight?
Yeah, we were like the very last.
And I had like my electronic drum set to bring out there, and like everybody else was so cool. They had live bands and everything, and like real instruments. And I just brought out like my tin can electronic drum set. We played at midnight.
Yeah, it was sick. We were the very last band to play, and we weren't very good.
Looked like babies, man.
Yeah, me, Colton, and the guest from last week, Chris Bork. He was the other guy. He was probably the only real. Well, no, you guys were the only talent in the band. I was just hanging out.
I mean, he's definitely the most talented of the three of us for sure.
But anyways, yeah, then we formed another band with another one of your cousins and a friend of mine at the time, Alan. And can we just say that was the worst band name of all time, Chasing Normal.
Chasing Normal.
I wish that I fought back a little bit on that, because
who came up with it? Did you come up with it?
It wasn't me.
Oh shit!
At least I don't think it was me.
I don't know.
Maybe it was me.
Combination of all of us. I still tell this story that we had a recording gig with this band, and that's only where I leave it. Like, I don't tell them the end product. I just say that the end files live on my old iPod Classic in the bottom of my drawer and nowhere else.
No way.
That's where the recordings are.
I think. I don't even know if I want to say this, but like whatever. I think if you do enough YouTubing of some of the keywords that we've already said, you can find some of the recorded songs. So do with that what you will. Anyways, more into a little bit of background with Colton. I'll just say you expanded my like genre, like realm, my world of music. I'll say the first band that I remember you bringing to me was the Wonder Years.
Oh, really?
That's a band. I'm not talking about the show. And we actually, I think that was the last concert that I saw with you before the pandemic.
I think so too. I think that was it. Yeah, and we saw, and they had like the shortest set list I've ever seen. It was like literally like a 45-minute concert.
Yeah, but they're so fun live. Of course their like closing song, it's for years has been Came Out Swinging or Come Out. Is it Came Out Swinging?
Came Out
Swinging. Yeah, which if nobody's heard the Wonder Years, that is a song you should start with.
That's like the pop punk essence.
Totally.
Is that song. And
totally.
Like, yeah.
And so it makes
fun.
Yeah, and it makes perfect sense that they would close with that. It's like such a good way to end the night.
I remember I was sitting beside you, like they're gonna do it. They're gonna close with that song. I'm going in the mosh pit. I'm going full force in the mosh pit, and I lost my voice. I was so sore after. I was like, man, I am in my mid-20s. I should not be this sore after mosh pit. But
no regrets. But that was so in 2019, I think that was October of 2019 or something like that. But not just the Wonder Years you got me into. You also opened my eyes to, like, I'm still not super into like hip hop, but I probably wouldn't have listened to any rap had I not met you. You introduced me to a lot of stuff. You got me really into Frank Ocean. You've like opened me up to him like a ton over the years. I'm obviously not as big of a fan as you are, but like I don't think I would have listened to music like that had I not known you. Also, a band, this is a little bit of foreshadowing, but Attack in Black is a band that I never would have, I can confidently say I would never have even heard of them had it not been for you and Kale as well. So yeah, that's sort of my introduction to Colton. He's a very good friend of mine and has a way better taste in music than me. So I'm very thankful to have you in my life.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So welcome to the show.
Happy to be here. So excited. I got to tell you, when you called me, I was sitting beside my girlfriend. We were watching TV or something, and you were like, yeah, I'm going to want to do this podcast. I was like, we talk about our love with pop punk music, and you also give me a video game to play. I was like, are you kidding me? It's like two of my favorite things, music and video games. Heck yeah. I'm not even going to think about twice. I end the phone. I turned my girlfriend. I was like, guess what? I'm so excited. I've been counting down the days to come out here. I'm very excited. I guess, and what you're putting together, like such a cool, unique idea for us to get together and talk about music. And like, also a bit of background. This also isn't our first podcast.
Hell yeah! Wow, what, the bottom shelf
podcast, baby.
Oh yeah.
And going back to you saying like different genres of music and you into and everything, I still want to make that because we talked about it a little bit. We had a segment where we like talk about different albums and everything.
Oh yeah.
And like I wanted to make you listen to Death Grips. And that was one of the things.
Was that
like very, very basement.
Obscure?
Yeah.
Okay, I vaguely remember them. That's so funny. Oh, I completely forgot about that, man. I feel like we have so many, like, I feel like we could talk for hours, especially like with old work stories and stuff like that, from like these eras of our life where like you could bring something up that I completely forgot about, and it would be one of those like, oh yeah moments. And I don't know, maybe they're not that funny to anybody else, but to us, they're like so funny. Yeah. That Swanee Set era was like the prime of our lives. I think.
Peaked in high school, man, or just out of high school.
Anyway, so just gave you guys a bit of a rundown of the show. Colton teased it a little bit there. The Gamers Galore segment that's going to come up later. I'll intro it like a little bit more clearly later, but for those of you that didn't watch last week or this is your first show, basically the idea behind that is sort of all the other people that I know that are equally into pop punk as me are also as into video games as I am. So I thought it could be kind of a cool opportunity to ask them for a video game recommendation, like some game that I've never played before that they like thoroughly enjoyed, or maybe it influenced them in some way, or it plays some role in it takes up some real estate in their head. So, and like I said, the game that you gave me has been by far my favorite one so far.
Talk about it later.
Yeah,
but talk about it that's later. Why I was so excited, because those are the two things that take up most of the space in my head. In my head is video
pop punk and video games. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so that's a little sample of things to come. We're gonna go to the first song break of the show, so do not go anywhere, because when we come back, we're gonna get right into it with Colton. So thank you guys very much, and we'll be back in a minute. There, I gotta remember to turn the damn mics on. God damn it, again.
It'll pass. You'll remember.
Pass. Yeah, there we go. One of these days I'll get it. So, welcome back, everybody. The Pop Punk Power Hour. I'm your host, Tino Farah. I have my very good friend, Colton Easton, with me. There you go. So, we're just gonna get right into it. So, Colton, I prepped you with this one a little bit before the show.
Yeah.
So, I guess, do you remember what, if at all, what your first ever like pop punk song or like band or artist or whatever is that you like absolutely fell in love with? And then on top of that, like a follow-up question for afterwards is, in present day, do you have a favorite pop punk artist or band or just song in general or whatever that like right now in present day you also love just as much?
Present day is tough, but I'll go back to kind of the start
for sure.
The cornerstone of what I said at the beginning is how I really fell in love, because like what you said is that I don't listen to just pop punk. I listen to so many different genres of music, and but pop punk has definitely been always throughout my whole experience in my life, because like I'm a musician. I started playing drums when I was grade 4. It's when I first took lessons, so I got into rock music then. And what I was listening to at the time when I was really young is music that my parents would play on the radio. So it's like old country songs or the QMFM hits or whatever, just like things that, you know, of course. And then my stepdad would listen to the Beatles a lot, so I had a lot of Beatles. And one day we were living in a townhouse, and we were living in the townhouse, and like there's a cul-de-sac area that you know we would play in as kids, and I you know, this was at the time where we had Discmans and Walkmans, right?
Of course.
No MP3 players, no iPods or anything like that.
MP3 players.
So we're playing around in the dirt, and I find a CD. That it's just
is this
like
real, or are you making this up?
No, this is real. So I find a CD, and like I have my CD player, and I'm like, ooh, let's see what happens on this random CD. And it's a mixed CD of like all this different types of music that I've never heard of before. So like when I later on, like there was old school Green Day though on there, like songs from like Nimrod that were on there, some other like rock bands. But I just remember like Green Day really being one of the primary bands that was on that CD, and I was like, I love this music. This is awesome.
Oh my god!
So I started getting into Green Day a little bit more, and that was really my introduction into like the different types of like, oh my god, different types of music exist out there apart from what I'm listening to on the radio and everything. There's all these different bands that there was a couple that I probably do remember, but I just remember Green Day being the primary band that was on there. So that's what got me into Green Day. So I listened to Green Day, learned Green Day tracks, and then the rock music, it kind of generates, I listen to AC/DC, and then you go to these other types of bands that you want to learn how to play on the drums, because I'm a drummer. So like majority of is going to be rock related music. So that was that's really gone to Green Day to be like, again, one of my favorite bands. But the second time was actually how I got introduced to my favorite band throughout is Motion City Soundtrack.
Even to this day.
Even to this day.
Yeah.
Absolutely, without a doubt, Motion City Soundtrack. And I'll tell you why. So, circa 2004, 2005, Coquitlam Center, grand opening of West 49.
Wow.
Yeah.
That paints a picture.
Yeah, grand opening of West 49 opens up. They're doing a big promo. I'm there with my mom, my siblings. We're like, oh man, I want to get some new DC shoes that are on sale. Heck yeah, they're doing a huge promo for everything. Like here's a wristband, here's like a carabiner, here's like a lanyard.
Oh my god.
And they gave out mixed CDs, or like they gave out CDs, right?
Yeah.
And one of them was Epitaph Records.
Okay.
I did some Googling on this to figure out what it was, and it was like a summer sampler. 06, 09, just a free CD, right? Where the record label, they get together all the bands that they currently have, and like they get one song on each album, and they give it out as free promo. So on that was all the current bands that Epitaph Records had all together, and like there were some other, some good bands, and there was this one song that I listened to that I really, really liked, and it was called Capital H. I didn't really figure out like much into it. I just listened to the CD the whole time. That Capital H song was like my favorite one, and I would just listen to that for like the rest of like my early to late elementary school, like when I was in grade 6, grade 7. And that was, again, around the time where KO got me more into the pop-punk genre. So we started listening to other bands. Like, that was a time when, like, Boys Like Girls was, like, huge.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody liked Boys Like Girls. I had, 5 different shirts from them, of course.
Wait, can I pause you just for a sec? What, like, age or what year do you think that was when you were, like, super into Boys Like Girls?
2007, 2008.
Yeah, see, I didn't even hear about them until like 2010.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sorry, continue.
Oh, man. Crazy. And so they were huge, of course, and I started to go see more concerts with him and my other cousin, Caitlin, and Boys Like Girls was one of the ones that we really wanted to go to. So it's Boys Like Girls. They were the headliner. Opening was All Time Low.
Whoa.
Motion City Soundtrack, and The Format.
What a sick lineup.
What a sick lineup. Totally. The Format couldn't make it, so it was just Motion City Soundtrack and All Time Low. But still awesome.
Totally
amazing.
Great.
So that's what got me into All Time Low.
Yeah.
And what I realized, I had never heard of Motion City Soundtrack before. So they're doing all their songs, and they close with the song Capital H. And I had no idea that was the band. So they start playing the song, and I'm like, holy shit, I love this song. This is my favorite song. I had no idea that this was them. So I was singing all the lyrics, and I was like, yes. Oh my God, I love this band. So like, of course, as you do with all bands that you like at a concert, you buy all their stuff. So I bought their CD. They autographed it, which was Commit This to Memory Deluxe Edition. They autographed it and still have it.
Oh my God.
It was awesome. So that was really like my cornerstone to like, this is my favorite genre, just because of also how fun the concerts are too.
Yeah.
Like just so much more fun at those concerts that you have. And I just remember being like, okay, that's it. They're my favorite band. And it wasn't because of just the music that they played, but a lot of the reason why, and we can get into this a little later, is just like the types of feelings that they write about, the types of emotions that you get from different songs. Those are a lot of the emotions that I really connected with. So that's why they were really one of my favorite bands, and they still are to this day. I know they're not actually together anymore, but man, I followed everything that they did. Like I ordered some cool like vinyls that they had. I had a couple of their merch, but like I'd always try to go to any of their concerts when they could. So
yeah,
that answers the why that they today are my favorite band for sure, without a doubt. It's never going to change. Favorite song, it honestly changes because like some days it'll be one song, some days it'll be the other. There was one that I actually totally forgot about that just like randomly popped into my head. I'm just Googling it here. It's Count Yourself In by 10 Second Epic.
Okay.
You probably heard of it, but like it just popped into my head. I was like, man, this is such a good song too. So that's one I've been playing a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I think one of the things that I am realizing about me anyway is that I listen to a lot of like the pop punk music I listened to when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I still listen to that same type of music, and like the music has changed. So one of the really cool things that gets me into new different genres and stuff is Spotify. They've got really good playlists.
Discovery playlist.
Totally. And like I've got a cool one that's like I follow. It's called Next Gen Pop Punk. Like so many different bands that I've never heard of that still have that same spirit of pop punk. So that's like one of my go-tos for finding like new ways to like really get into the realm of what's new, what's happening, who's playing this, different types of music. So that's how I get my Spotify definitely comes in clutch for sure. So that kind of I hope that answers your question there, right?
Yeah, definitely. That, and I see my brother Dom Scrygor. Shout out Scrygor. Yeah, Everything Is All Right. That was me and my brother Dom. Like we found that song sort of at the same time. Well, actually, like Dom probably found it first. Sorry, Scrygor probably found it first, and then showed it to me. But I have these. They're long gone. Like they don't exist anymore. But we used to make. Remember when like MacBooks. Like the actual like computer itself, not like the laptop, first came out, like, and you could do like the photo booth or whatever, or like iMovie or whatever, and you could film yourself with the camera. And there were these like dumb like pre-made editing things where you could like make like on like Much Music, for example, when there was a music video that was about to play, there would be like the artist name, the song title, and like the record label in the bottom left. There was like that pre-made edit on this on like iMovie or whatever. So we would make music videos of ourselves like lip syncing or like playing air guitar to Everything Is All Right, for example.
That's awesome.
Oh my god.
Well,
so
you just
stupid.
Actually reminded me of another thing of like how I wouldn't call this band like pop punk, but just like another genre expanding. It was oh no. Why is it a System of a Down?
System of a Down.
Really like System of a Down.
Yeah.
That was because when I was in grade 8, I watched like this like music project of like one of the or film projects of somebody in our high school creating a music video for a song, and it was a System of a Down song. Yeah. The popular one. I don't know why it escapes me right now, but.
The one that says like, "Why'd you leave the keys upon the table?"
That
whatever that one's called.
And they made the music video, and I was like, "Wow, I really like this band." And I thought that the guys at high school were the band. I had
you thought you went to school with System of a Down?
Yeah. So I was like, "Man, I love this band." But anyway, I really got into System of a Down too. So that really.
Oh, that's so funny, Jen. We absolutely do not have copies of the music videos, so get out of here.
Too bad.
Just kidding. I also want to touch. I don't want to lose this thought when you were telling your story. You have the most like fairy tale storybook basically intros to these genres of music. You found a CD in the dirt?
Yeah, I found a CD in the dirt.
It's like a message in the bottle.
Oh, it was great. And like it definitely had I Miss You by Blink-182 on there.
Yeah, of course.
So obviously. But yeah, those were like the ones. It had like Warning by by Green Day and like Minority by Green Day. And I was like, these songs are so good.
That's so funny.
But yeah, no, that's how I really like found it. Like, oh, there's other music out there. That was like, because I'm trying to remember. I wrote everything I want to talk about down, right? So
that's called preparation, people. I also have notes. I just didn't bring a notebook, so whatever. So you did. We've mentioned him a couple times already. Your cousin Kale that we work with at Swanee Set.
Shout out to Kale if you're watching.
Shout out Kale. I think he said he's at baseball practice right now, or he's playing baseball or something like that. And the reason I know that is because I texted Kale earlier in the day to see if I could get like the inside scoop of any like embarrassing, hopefully kind of embarrassing or funny stories regarding Colton from when they used to be in a band together back in the day. I was looking for some fun. Also, this is like one that came into my mind after I got off the phone with Kale is there was a time when the three of us went to, I don't remember if it was your house or Kale's house or whatever in the Swanee Set era, and the three of us got together to jam, and we decided that we wanted to cover a Taylor Swift song.
Let's go. It was at my house.
Okay, it was at your house. And the song we decided on was Dear John. Phenomenal song.
Great
like,
song.
There's no arguing. That is just overall a phenomenal song. However, we wanted to rewrite it from the perspective of a guy instead of from Taylor Swift's perspective. So we decided we should change
the name.
We should change the name instead of Dear John. So we're trying to think, like, what name kind of goes with the flow of the song without having to change any of the other words, and it still sticks with the melody and stuff like that. The name we came up with was Donna. So the song was going to be Dear Donna. And to this day, I don't know if it's the same for you.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear Dear John, which is pretty often, I play that song like pretty often, or like I'm whistling to it to myself.
Yeah.
I only hear Dear Donna in my head now.
Yeah, dude, all the time. All the time.
The emphasis on the "n."
Yeah, should have just kept it the way it is. Honestly.
Whatever. It was a fun idea at the time.
Totally. Sorry, it just reminds me of this other guy on YouTube who does like pop punk covers of like good songs.
Is it Alex Melton?
It is Alex Melton.
Oh yeah,
I absolutely love that guy.
Yeah, he's you showed me him.
Yeah,
you showed me him back in the.
It was a Taylor Swift song.
Yeah. And then there was another one that he did. So this guy, like, look him up on YouTube. His name's Alex Melton. You can find his music on Spotify or on YouTube or wherever. SoundCloud, basically, like a lot of the things that he does nowadays is he'll take like a country song, or he'll take like a Blink-182 song, for example, and just say like, I Miss You by Blink-182 if it were country, or here's this country song if Blink-182 wrote it. So he'll like record it in like the voice of Tom DeLonge or Mark Hoppus, and he does that with a bunch of different bands.
He's like the one man whatever goes punk. Like those albums.
Yeah.
Pop Goes Punk,
and so on and so on. Yeah.
He's like the one man band for that.
Yeah, but you showed me him. So one was that, I think it was We Are Never Getting Back Together by Taylor Swift that he did, and then there was another one. I think the song is called Island by The Starting Line. I believe that's the song. And he did a cover of that. But instead of using like instruments, he used like appliances in his apartment. So like for some percussion, he was like hitting the like stovetop with a knife or whatever, and he was like hitting a pillow with a spoon at one point as well for some of like the kick drum sound effects. It's really cool. You should absolutely look him up. That's Alex Melton on YouTube. But
yeah, he's got good videos.
Yeah, getting back into like Kale. So I called Kale earlier to ask him about some insight from the past, and let's go. Let's. I want to see if you know the answer to this, because he said, well, you guys used to be in a band like back in the day when you were in high school. He talked about how
the Avid Planet.
I didn't remember the name of them, and I didn't think to ask. But my memory of that band is, I remember I have this picture in my head of a photo shoot you guys did when you're on some like wooden platform with umbrellas, and I think you guys are wearing like dress clothes or something like that. Dude, it looks very dramatic.
It was the perfect 2008 photo.
Of course. Yeah.
Right? Where you just colorize one color and it's all black and white, and like the purple's colorized.
That's right, it was black and white.
The red's colorized. It was perfect. 2007, 2008.
Kale also mentioned that you guys played about 5 shows. He also said to compliment you, he said you were the most talented person in the band. He said that like, I forgot how much older he is than us, but because me and you were the same age, 4 years older. Okay. So he said like him and his friend or friends or whatever were in a band, and he was like, oh, my cousin that's in grade 8 is randomly really good at drums, and he said like you were way better than anybody like at that age would have been, kind of thing. So there's your compliment from Kale. Okay. Through me.
You go, and I'll follow
but do you know what your guys's I wrote it down on my laptop. Do you remember what your guys's like pre-show ritual? There was a song you guys would sing a cappella and harmonize to.
Oh, was there?
It was an Akon song. Does that ring a bell?
Oh, it's an Akon song. Yes. Nobody wanna see us together.
There it is.
But
all right, I already had to
open. No, that was it. Oh yeah, that's totally.
He said it was like a really easy song for you guys to harmonize to, and that's how you guys would warm up before.
Yeah, we'd also cover "Umbrella" by Rihanna.
Yeah,
that was great,
of course.
But no, I totally forgot. I actually didn't write this down, but that getting into that band was so cool, because the same thing happened. Like Kale's like, hey, I got a band. Do you want to come play? I was like, oh man, yeah, okay. I was in grade 8, going to practice to another high school with a bunch of grade 12 kids.
Very sick.
Oh, I was like so nervous. Like, oh my god, it was so. And like we got there and literally we wrote a song that same day.
Really? Yeah. Do you remember what the song was called?
I don't remember what it was called, but I remember like we played it at lots of different shows that we had.
Okay.
And like I peaked at grade 8. Like we played. That was the most amount of shows I played there. That was it. I thought we were good.
Yeah,
I thought we were good. Well, I liked our sound.
I remember actually that one time that we were talking about before, when we went to your house to jam out that Dear Donna rendition. I remember Kale playing me one of your guys' songs, and the only thing that I remember like thinking it was good, but the main thing that sticks into my head was there was a line about leaving this one horse town. Am I thinking of the same song?
I don't remember the lyrics entirely, but it probably is in there.
It just fit the classic like pop punk. I'll get back into this, like I have a point about this later on as well, but it just fits that classic like pop punk script of like hating your small town, wanting to get out of your small town. If anybody like has a second, maybe when we're on a song break or something like that, go on YouTube like pop punk hate this town or get out of this town, and you'll find videos
like a
supercut of like so many songs in the genre where it's just gotta get out of this town, or I hate this town, my small town, or whatever. So I just thought it was so funny that it fit that script so well. All right, well let's take a break. Let's do a quick song break. Don't go anywhere. We're going to continue to get right back into this when we come back. But it feels fitting for a bit of a song break. So we will be right back momentarily. Thanks for hanging out.
Expand your music horizons.
And I threw it in a well, all the memories and spell, put up all the sand and mud, found nothing but bad blood.
All right, I turned the mic on first try. The mic's on first try.
Nailed it. Bye, Gossip.
All right, Gossip, Connor, thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate you coming by for the second show in a row.
Watch the rest.
Yeah, watch the rest later. Enjoy your dinner reservation. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and being active in the chat. Anybody else that's watching, if you want to get in the chat, we both have it in front of us here, so one of us will see it. We'll see your comments if you do want to say something, and let's interact a bit. That last song that was playing, that was Pick It Up Again by Violent Soho. That was Colton's idea to throw in the chat. I think have you heard that song before?
Nope.
I hadn't either, and I think we were both thoroughly enjoying it. So give him a listen. By the way, also check out that Spotify playlist. That's again, thanks to Colton. I found that playlist because that's one of the things you have to be careful about when you're doing stuff on the internet is songs that are copyright friendly.
Get the DMCA after you.
Exactly. Yeah. So
it's bad business.
Yeah. So this record label called Pure Noise Records has this playlist that's safe for Twitch. They're a pop punk or a punk rock sort of record label, so shout out to Pure Noise Records. You're making this significantly easier for me. So,
and that Spotify playlist that I mentioned before that I listened to, it's called Next Gen Pop Punk.
Next Gen Pop Punk. Yeah,
lots of good new artists on there.
Yeah, we can throw that in the chat at some point as well if anybody's
to listen to.
If anybody's curious. So we're just gonna get right back into it. So I was letting you know that this next question I had for you is like one of the longer formed questions. So the question in general is, does the genre influence the way you listen to music today in any way? And I want to preface this a little bit by like giving you like my example of what I mean, so you can kind of get your wheels turning. So my example is pop punk lyrics, especially back in the day. Like it's getting a little bit better now, but still falls in this category a little bit. Their lyrics can be very like simple, very plain. Like we were talking before, like the one horse town, get out of my town, like I hate you, parents, in my angsty teen ways and stuff like that.
For sure.
They can be very like repetitive, very simple and stuff like that. So while I really enjoyed that when I was younger, and I still do enjoy it to an extent, like I still have a lot of nostalgia for that kind of stuff, it's made me like really appreciate when I hear a song that's like really wordy, or maybe the lyrics are like a little bit metaphorical, like they'll make you like think a little bit kind of thing. They make you wonder like, oh, what state of mind was this person, or what are they writing about, and so on. So like that's what I mean, how like it's changed the way that I listen to music a little bit. So I'm wondering if the genre has done the same for you in any way.
For sure. And I think anybody who really listens to music in any shape or form has that starting foundation of what they usually listen to, and that kind of really does help expand. Like you always compare, anything new to what you're most comfortable with.
For sure.
So when this kind of does fall into one of the points that I'd written down is basically when you look at like, if you just Google like a feelings wheel, basically it like expands like angry, sad, happy, into all these other different emotions. Like,
that's so interesting.
So like, it's not sad, it's like remorseful, or it's not angry, it's like hatred or anything like that. So you look at one of those other, actually I'm just going to pull it up right now just so I can actually sound like I know what I'm talking about.
What was it called? A feelings wheel?
Feelings wheel. It's just basically something that's like done in counseling. Like when a kid says, oh, I feel sad, it's like, well, do you actually feel sad, or do you feel depressed or ashamed or stupid or bashful?
Oh, okay.
All these other different things. So one of the things I really look at is that you take a look at any sort of feeling, angry, frustrated, selfish, or whatever. You can find 5 or 6 hundreds of different songs that give you that same emotion.
Totally.
Right? So like, it can be completely different genres that match up. And typically when you look at the pop punk genre, it's along some of the same of lonely, depressed, bored, sleepy, or angry, like you're hurt, you're rage, hateful, critical, just looking at what's here, and scared, or whether you're like discouraged or rejected. Rejection is a huge part of that, right?
Totally. Yeah.
So that's just kind of how I look at it. And again, you can look at and find so many different genres that give you that same emotion. So obviously, like when you said, the point of their lyrics, or the early pop punk lyrics, is very basic. It's a very, very easily accessible emotion. Right? I feel sad. I feel lonely. I want to leave this place. Those are all something that us growing up as young teens or pre-teens, starting to hit that puberty, starting to really, get girlfriends or boyfriends and really explore our emotions, get our heart broken, or hate our parents for no reason other than they just love us so much.
Sorry, Mom.
And that's kind of how I associated with that. These are all the different types of things that I can feel. Like, I can feel the same emotion that I'm hoping that they are trying to portray when I was that age. But now, of course, we're 25, 26. We got bills to pay, we got mortgages and shit, and like it's different. Like I can go back to kind of how I felt at that time and understand like what I was going through and like how I felt that way, or whether it's depression or anything else. And it's also weird that people our age now were writing those lyrics for like us, but
that's beside the point.
That's beside the point. But no, you grow up and you understand that there's different ways to express emotion. And looking at music now, or what I listen to now, is when I, for me, when I find a song that I really like, it instantly clicks. Like, I can listen to the first 30 seconds of it and be like, I know I'm going to really like this song. And for some others, it'll take me a while before I get to there. But like, when I listen to a new album or a new song or anything, especially for a new album, my listening process is a little bit different. Like from some of my other friends, I'll listen to the whole album on shuffle first. So that way I can like digest every song as a single as it is, and then I'll play it in the context of what the artist wanted that album to look like, with all those songs pieced together.
Will you do that like with every album you listen to, or just the
every new album I listen to? So like when a new band comes out with a new album, I'll listen to it that way. Yeah. But yeah, you understand, you get those basic foundations of emotions and thoughts and feelings, and you can apply that to some of the new things that you listen to now. So like, I don't have an example off the top of my head, but when I listen to like a really good song, I'll just use Frank Ocean as an example. Like, he'll talk about the same things that you mentioned or that I mentioned in like Emotions Wheel, but like the depth of it, the complexity of the lyrics and the songs, and how the actual songs and the music itself complements the emotion that they're trying to portray, is something that I really like. I really feel that, and yeah, that kind of gets me to obviously I love exploring new different genres of music, because even though there are the same certain sets of emotions and feelings that you can feel, I want to listen to something new that makes me feel something different. For sure. Right? So that's why I always try to explore as many different genres of music as I can. So I don't really, like, you look at like, I don't know, like Anthony Fantano, the Needle Dropper, like rates all his music based on like a whole bunch of different things, right? And I just judge my music based on like how it makes me feel, basically. So that's how I look at when I'm wanting to listen to new music, or when I have a new song, or when I listen to a new song. And it doesn't have to be like one of these like deep, profound emotions. I can be just like, fuck yeah, it's a banger. And like, I can like the song, right? So it doesn't, but these are all things that I take into account when, I listen to a new artist or anything like that. And I think that pop punk genre, where it has those foundational emotions of that, it makes me appreciate what an artist may be either going through, or what the emotion that they're trying to portray. Obviously, because like when I started playing music, All the songs I know on guitar are just sad, slow songs that nobody knows. Like, I want to play a fun, happy, fast song, but like, there's they're the easiest to learn on guitar, and those are just all the ones I know. So it's interesting to see, and you know, the songs that I'll play later, you know, the ones about obviously heartbreak and, you know, whatever. But yeah, that's kind of my answer for that, and how it's changed. And one of the questions that you also had was like the if it's pop punk coming back, kind of, is that the next thing you're going to go to?
Well, that was like one of the next thing, yeah, because I did talk about that last week with our previous guest, Chris Bork. I was talking about like the music, like the genre, I guess, is sort of coming back into popularity. So just to like recap for those that weren't there last week or didn't hear last week, it's like you're seeing these artists like Machine Gun Kelly, for example, like is one of the ones that we mentioned, where he was in the hip hop realm. He was definitely like, he had his foot in the door a little bit of pop punk. I know that he's some friends with some guys like Sleeping with Sirens and stuff like that, which is another like pop punk band. But after his whole thing with Eminem,
getting absolutely squashed.
Yeah, he is now completely switched genres, and now he's fully like, he's now a pop punk.
I like the album.
I love the album.
I like the album.
You know what?
It's
like,
good.
I'll just say, like, and I think I've said this to people as well. Like, the album sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, I've listened to it at the gym. I've listened to it when I'm driving. Like, I can listen to it in any situation, and it's really good. I just, because he switched genres, like, it almost comes across as like a little, maybe like not super genuine a little bit.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. For sure.
But again, like, that's sort of, you know, like, this is another question that we can get into like in a little bit as well. But like, one of the things I have written down with it coming back into popularity is like, do you think there's a degree of people like sort of gatekeeping a little bit, like hey, like, I've been a fan of pop punk for so long, like, you have to earn your stripes, you can't be in here. Like, do you think there's a degree of that? Is that a good or bad thing, or, or whatever?
I know you want to get onto the next segment, so I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. But into your first question about gatekeeping, every hobby, everything that you get into, no matter what, there's always going to be gatekeepers.
For sure.
There's always going to be people who be like, wow, you did that? Well, it's not really that hard. Or like, oh, wow, you listen to that band sucks, you should listen to this band. Or like, don't listen to this band, they're not good. That shit's so dumb. So dumb. Don't gatekeep music, let people enjoy shit.
Totally.
Like, when I got, you know, I used to be that way. Totally. I used to be that way. I was the pop punk I felt was the antithesis of like real or just pop music. And I love pop music now too. Like, I listen to Carly Rae Jepsen like a lot. It's just really good. Yeah. But like, I would like, oh, I hate mainstream music, blah, blah, blah. Because like, I'm a 14-year-old, you know, you're dealing with all these emotions and everything. But so let people enjoy shit.
Totally. Don't
gatekeep shit. Like, this is what makes you feel great, then why not let other people get in on it? Help them out. Here's a good band I started with, you know, blah, blah, blah. Into the second question about how it has changed and how it's evolved, possibly coming back. Totally, I agree. But one of the things that hasn't gone away is those thoughts and those feelings that the music brings you.
Totally.
So for my job, I deal a lot with youth and social media. So a lot of these old, like, you look at, I wrote down the years here. I think it was like 2018 to 2020, basically. You get a lot of these emo rap.
Oh yeah.
You get like XXS, Tentacion, Lil Peep, you know, all these other ones that they are portraying those exact same emotions in a very basic way, but it's just presented in a different genre. Yeah. Right. And except they're all like addicted to like codeine and drugs and everything. But
ironically, actually, I don't know if it's ironic, but I know that like both of those artists have like dabbled with bands like Blink-182, for example, as well.
And there is a lot of bleed over because that those feelings, those emotions are very synonymous with each other.
That's very interesting.
So, so the feelings don't go away. What does change though throughout is going to be the music, the genre that it takes you through that journey of those emotions. So, yeah, like, you know, because again, I deal a lot with youth and social media. So like, I didn't see any pop punk. Like, no reference. It's a dead genre. It's all emo rap. It's all those guys. But the emotions were still there. I could definitely like relate to what these kids were posting about when they post the sad lyrics or the other thing. There's all things I definitely would have done if I had access to social media. Thank God I didn't. Otherwise, I would have been full force posting that stuff.
Shout out Nextopia.
But those are the types, and that's what I notice is that the emotions don't change. It's the genres of music. So pop punk will come back. It'll come back even stronger than it is now, and then it will go away. Maybe it'll come back. So there's all of these ebbs and flows when you come with music, like what's popular, what's not, like 80s music. Like I love like bopping 80s jams every now and then, and like the 80s, I guess, aesthetic is something that like is coming back. So it'll change, you know.
That's very interesting. I love that answer. That's really good. Okay, so just to keep things, we are like pushing time a little bit, but guess what? Who cares? This is an internet show. If we go a little over an hour, who cares? If you guys hang out for the entire time, thank you so much. If you guys do have to like dip out at any point, don't. But if you do, like, I understand, I guess. But the ones that stick around, you're definitely a tier above the other ones. You know, not to gatekeep my own show, but that's called a callback, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we're going to go into the Gamers Galore segment real quick. So nothing. Hey, hi, it's me again in your ear. Okay, so this was the part of the show where we were previewing the segment Gamers Galore, which was a segment where my guest would give me a game to play that I've never played before, and I would record myself getting through it and struggling with it, and it was really funny. The game that Colton gave me was Outer Wilds. It has since become my favorite game of all time. I can't recommend it enough. But obviously, that's a visual segment. Doesn't really make sense to throw into this episode. So we're going to treat this as if it were a break, and we're going to throw into the surprise of the show that I teased earlier, which was a performance from Colton, a live performance. That was a big thing about the original version of the show, was that the guests would come on and they would do a live performance at the end of the show. So I'm just going to throw now to Colton introducing his song. And if anybody wants to see the video of the Gamers Galore segment where I played Outer Wilds, let us know in the Discord or in the comments somewhere, and I will happily throw it up somewhere. All right, enjoy.
Okay, so I'm going to do one song, maybe two, we'll see, time. But this is another slow song that nobody knows. It's called Steal Back by a band called Aunt Martha. And again, went down a YouTube rabbit hole, found these guys, thought they were pretty cool, and liked their music. So this song is called Steal Back.
Just dreams until you build them, and every dream is a test, so it seems they come and go, and I know you've got to will them. And oh, my lover, oh, how I've come to discover so I will find you with another. And if you come alone. If you read Tell me how am I gonna steal back your heart? Have no fear, feel no pain. Have no fear and feel no pain. Everything is lost, everything's the same. Have no fear, feel no pain. And if you come alone. If you read my note. If you do or if you don't, either way. If you're wondering what's for real, if you're willing to make a deal, tell me how am I gonna steal back your heart? Tell me how am I gonna steal back your heart? I don't know.
All right, and that's the episode. Colton did perform one other song after that one. If you guys want to see that video, I will happily put that up on social media. But yeah, it seems like a good place to end the episode there. So thank you for bearing with us for this episode. Obviously, this isn't what we would usually do, but just with Colton's travel schedule and my work schedule, this was the best that we were able to come up with. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this to some extent. Don't forget to obviously follow us on our social medias on Instagram and on TikTok, and join the Discord if you feel so inclined to. It's like we've said before, it's a safe, fun environment, pretty active. We have lots of good conversations about the genre and not about the genre, so come hop in. The link is whatever in our bio on all the accounts. So yeah, come and hang out if you feel so inclined. Okay, that'll do it for this episode of the Pop Punk Power Hour. On behalf of myself and Colton, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Peace.